Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the blessing that is this day. May the sun rise in your heart. May your mind be open to the opportunities to be a blessing to others. May you be a faithful follower of the light, of the invitation to learn, to grow, and to serve. Welcome to this gathering of fellow journeyers. May we learn from each other and find faithful ways to make this world safer, kinder, and more loving for all beings. Welcome to All Souls. I'm your host, Sandra Boston, and we have a habit here of wanting everyone to feel welcome. So we invite you right now to just turn around and wave hello to whoever is here, and special hello to the people on Zoom. We have a particular challenge in our sanctuary this morning in that the heat isn't working in the sanctuary, though it's working in several other rooms in the building. So we're going to keep each other warm with friendship and presence. Yes, come in, come in. We're getting busy with putting in space heaters around our piano player and our technician, making sure everybody's comfortable before we turn into quiet for just a while. Now I invite everyone to breathe. Breathe deeply. Come into the room, this beautiful, quiet room. Be present, be focused, be at peace. We come together this morning to remind one another to rest for a moment on the forming edge of our lives, to resist the headlong tumble into the next moment until we claim for ourselves awareness and gratitude. Taking the time to look into one another's faces and see communion. This house of laughter and silence, memory and hope is hallowed by our presence here today. Let us take this time for quiet reflection as we listen in silence to the prelude. Thank you, Julia. Julia Bady, our accompanist this morning. Please join me now in the lighting of the chalice. The chalice will be lit by Carlin Saltman. The words are in your program. We'll read them together. We light this chalice with our hearts and minds, hands and feet, aligned with our highest intentions to be messengers of peace and justice and purveyors of kindness and love as we step into this new year together with faith and joy. That's our assignment, faith and joy. All right, now we're going to read the Congregational Covenant, which we do every week, and we do it in harmony with all the other Unitarian Universalist congregations in the world. Let's read it together. In this house, we covenant with one another to create a community built on a foundation of love, to work together to promote equality, justice, and peace, accepting responsibility for our individual acts, to stand the side of love, embracing the liberation of the oppressed, and working to end discrimination and unjust privilege, to communicate with kindness and support, and to serve with compassion and commitment. Yes, indeed, it's a beautiful assignment. I'm so glad to stand in solidarity with so many others. Let's join now in hymn number 126, Come Thou Font of Every Blessing. Stand if you're able. I'm just so grateful whenever I'm searching for just the right hymn. It's always there. This hymnal is such a guide for our journey. So I thank the vision and the blessing that comes in that hymn. We're going to now have our offertory. It's just a time in our community to share your gifts with the people who keep this church going and the services that we give to our community. So please join us now in the offertory. Please, Spirit, receive our offerings, and may they flow to where they can do the most good and reflect the love with which we give them. May they be a blessing. We got another hymn, 122. I couldn't resist. One more than we're used to, but isn't it fun? 122. Stand if you're able. Yeah, why not, huh? Why not? All sounds turn to music. Yeah, we're so blessed. So, the whole world is watching, and we're up at bat. Anyone watching a Celtics game sees how in the blink of an eye, the team scrambles from offense to defense. A missed shot, an intercepted pass, a fumble, and whoosh, the focus shifts, the muscles recalibrate, and the game rushes dramatically on. No time to bemoan the circumstances, just play ball, right? And here we are on the cusp of a game between government and citizen, coming tomorrow. The question that every humble human searches for at times like this is, what is the heart of the matter? And how do we navigate our differences, our deep psychological and political differences, the different lenses through which we make sense of what we see? When I'm going to offer a sermon, I start searching for clues that cross my path that might lead me to a deeper understanding of our calling in the present circumstances. What does our covenant mean now, today, and especially tomorrow, as we face radical change? Dina Metzger, a feminist poet, had these words to offer on the cusp of the Iraq War in 2003, when 30 million people marched in the streets around the world a month before the war started. She said, "There are those who try to set fire to the world. We are in danger. There is only time to move slowly. There is no time not to love." There is no time not to love. A few months after hearing these words, I was repairing a crack in the concrete of my garage floor. I felt the urge to write her words in the fresh, smooth concrete as a daily reminder, a mantra. There is no time not to love. What better words to guide us today? I'd like to read how those words spoke to me at that time of great challenge. I called this poem Spiritual Resilience. I want to despair. There is no time not to love. I want to hate. There is no time not to love. I want to scream, no, stop. There is no time not to love. I want to separate, run away. There is no time not to love. I want to deny, to forget, to just be happy. There is no time not to love. I want to reject, repel, condemn. There is no time not to love. I want to claim a higher moral ground. There is no time not to love. I want to give up, just let them kill each other until it's done. There is no time not to love. I want to declare the death of American civilization. There is no time not to love. I want to declare the death of hope for a just humanity. There is no time not to love. I want to feel powerful. There is no time not to love. I want to be proud of my country. There is no time not to love. I want to tell my children it's good to be an American. There is no time not to love. I want to be a confident, content, happy human being. There is no time not to love. I want to live in the truth of my soul and be free. There is no time not to love. Those words seem like an argument between my mind and my heart, between the ego, me, that I want, and the soul that knows we are all one. This refrain reminds me of another time when I heard a sermon by Carlos Anderson at Hope Church in Amherst many years ago. It was about having a made-up mind. It was about committing to a path for a lifetime and not wandering off or rethinking your decision. It reminds me of the 12-step program that begins with admitting our powerlessness over our urge to give in to addiction, but also to condemning and defaming and blaming. But step 2 comes right in with that made-up mind to remember our higher power, and step 3 to humbly ask for help to keep our made-up mind. It seems to me that choosing love as our response to life's assaults would need a made-up mind as our boat gets rocked by every evening news broadcast. Another amazing story comes piling in on the last. I am in good company. Have you heard of the film called Man on Wire? Has anybody heard of it? Oh, good. Lots of people have. It's the story of Philippe Petit, who in 1974, with a band of accomplices, snuck under cover of night onto the top of one of the World Trade buildings, back when there were 2 of them. Flung an arrow across the abyss, then strung a cable between the 2 building roofs, and proceeded at dawn to walk across the cable in a truly masterful feat that astounded all surprised onlookers. And his team filmed the whole episode. You can see how they did it. You can see him sitting pensively on the edge of the building before he began his walk. Imagine what a made-up mind he must have had to step out onto that cable. Imagine yourself having the same made-up mind when the feat before us is engaging with people who have very different and alarming visions for our country's future. What will it mean to both stand in our truth and remember there is no time not to love? Will we be able to do it? Or will we fail or struggle and have to ask a higher power to give us courage and clarity to act on our highest intentions? Maybe we are each other's higher power. And it will be our assignment to remember for each other that there is no time not to love. I'm also reminded of the story of the people of Denmark when the Nazis invaded them and announced that all Jews had to wear a yellow star. The Denmark people decided, we're all going to wear a yellow star. We're going to stand together and love. In Norway, when the Nazis invaded, they put all the labor union organizers in prison together for 4 years. They came out with a plan. And their plan was to get all the unions, not just the manufacturers or the service or the teachers or the healthcare workers, no, every union united in a general strike. But the key was they also included the farmers, which for the first time, the farmers and the laborers working on the same team, they had in the palm of their hand what it was needed to be a nation. And the owners of the corporations had to come to the bargaining table. And when they did, what the union said was, you can continue to own the means of production, but we will decide the salaries. And today, Norway has one of the strongest living standards in the world. It's called Viking economics. But think of the made-up mind to turn that around and to work together for the good of all. There's hundreds of stories of countries and people having to make this choice that we also now have to make. The word love can have many iterations. What does love mean when we are in the midst of a struggle for truth, for the rule of law, when the stakes are so high that more vulnerable members of our community are highly at risk? I recently read a book on moral psychology called The Righteous Mind by Jonathan Haidt, and that's Haidt, that I have found helpful in finding a stable yet non-judgmental place from which to analyze what is happening between different groups in our society. Haidt describes human beings as small riders on top of big elephants. The elephant leans in a certain direction, and the rider then responds by guiding, but not directing. The elephant represents our intuitive sensing that precedes any rational, logical thinking. Our thinking is in response to the leaning that has already happened. The author paraphrases it as believing is seeing, the opposite of what we have inherited as a teaching, that seeing is believing. Strange, huh? We like to believe that the rider is in charge, that the rider decides what is true, and the elephant, our behavior, follows. This author, working with many other researchers, tested 100,000 people in different age groups, gender groups, and cultural groups all over the world, working with 6 values foundations to measure how groups responded to moral quandaries. The typical moral quandary is the man who robs the drugstore to get medicine to save his wife's life when he can't afford to buy it. Would you say that's wrong, or would you say that's right? That's a moral quandary. And what they measured was how people responded. What was useful to me was seeing how the 6 different foundations can be used to define a spectrum of moral values, from radical choices to moderate to conservative and out to radical on the opposite end of a spectrum, and how the author could present these moral values with no judgment. No judgment. How people arrive at choices and behaviors are in response to how they respond intuitively, not rationally, to those circumstances that demand a moral response. The 6 foundations are liberty, fairness, caring, loyalty, authority, and sanctity. And libertarians care mostly about only the first one, liberty. Give me liberty or give me death. Progressives care very much about the first 3, but not much about the last 3. Conservatives care about all 6, but most strongly about the 3 that progressives dismiss: loyalty, authority, and sanctity. And of course, the Christian nationalists care most for the last 3, but especially the last one. Interesting? We humans are a predictable spectrum. What a waste of time trying to convince anyone that our way is better. It's like telling an elephant not to lean towards those treats that the trainers use as the only way to influence their mighty bodies to go where we want them to go. No wonder our founding fathers could have faced off in duels to the death. Our country could face off in a civil war where the fairness and caring spectrum would face off to the death with the loyalty, authority, and sanctity of the slaveholders. These same warring factions are once again igniting the fires of righteousness in our land. So here we stand on the cusp of change that threatens so many of our presumed American values. What is our assignment as Unitarians with a covenant that calls us to commit to love, justice, and inclusion? We too have our moral leanings. Did we ever consciously decide to be this way? Or did we just find that when we walked in the door of this church, something felt right? Our elephant just said, "Stay here." Isn't that how it happened? So we are comfortable hanging out together, feeling the safety of our shared values. But if our assignment is to love, no time not to love, to have a made-up mind that we will respond to differences with love, then we have a big challenge. And we are going to have to help each other remember. Am I right? It seems to me our goal is as challenging as that of Philippe Petit. Think of the courage he must have mustered that dawn as he waited to begin. I don't aspire to have that life-endangering intention, but I do long for his clarity of purpose, his resolve, his confidence in his ability to reach his destination. My destination is to meet any encounter with differences, remembering to act with love, to reject righteousness and my judgment of the other as wrong, disillusioned, misled, or manipulated. No, stop it, Sandra. Put those thoughts which come unbidden, out of habit, out of defense, put them behind you and get on with what loving would look like and sound like. It might sound like this. That's interesting. Tell me more about why you see it that way, because I see it differently. That's a skill I learned long ago, to allow differences without them automatically turning into an argument or a fight about who is right. It's a way of letting each person stand their ground so there's room for their truth, their reality, their moral foundation. I think that is what loving looks like. Gandhi also taught, everyone has a piece of the truth. No one has the whole truth. But what no one can take away from you is the truth of your experience. That is where we can stand. Do you agree with me that loving is a better way to enter into the challenges ahead of us as families, as communities, as a nation? Are you ready to try having a made-up mind? Are you willing to flounder, forget, fail, need to admit your powerlessness over your habit of a need to be right, and try again? Then let us commit together, holding hands and ready to forgive, but ready to take that first step toward our goal to make this new year a good year for loving, a good year for growing in wisdom, compassion, and forgiveness, a good year for allowing differences without them dividing or defeating us as a country. Let's be a good team, whether on the offense or the defense, together. Amen. Let's join in a wonderful hymn, 121. Let's Build a Land. I just love this hymn. what was that? Oh, the mic fell down.
In comedy, this is known as a mic drop.
Oh, thank you, Rob. That hymn reminds me of yesterday. Kate Stevens gave a message in our rally for the future we envision in Franklin County. And she gave this analogy of trees in the forest whose roots are intertwined so that when a storm comes, they all hold each other up. I just thought that was so beautiful. I wanted to mention that this morning. All right, it's time for joys and sorrows, and we've got our team here. Thank you for stepping forward. And this is a time to share something in your own heart, a joy or a sorrow. It's not a time for announcements. We'll have that after the service. And we ask you to please keep your comments brief so that there's time for everyone. So if you would like to raise your hand, David will come around with the mic, and you can, and the people on Zoom can also participate.
Hello, my name's Owen, and I just wanted to say how lovely that sermon was, Sandra. And you know, you're right, there's no time not to love. It's a beautiful idea, and especially that poem you made. That was just so great. I want to spread the word on that everywhere. So that's my joy today.
I'm Ray. I just watch CBS Sunday mornings every time before I come here, partly to see who we've lost. And this week, Charles Pearson, an 82-year-old African-American man who was the youngest of the Freedom Riders, passed away.
Well, it's cold, but it's warmed by the community. I'm grateful that so many of you are here. I want to light a candle of concern for a couple of friends who are dealing with some really hard medical things. And I want to light lots of candles of joy. I'll keep them to a few. One is to have Julia back at the piano. Another is that I had a very awkward encounter with the woman who jilted me out of all places, a wedding. And I'm still standing and smiling.
Second, I'm Gary. Second on that, joy to hear Julia have her back. And candle of sorrow for a friend just learned moments before we came here that their adult daughter had unexpectedly passed following a brief, serious illness.
My joy is being here today. And Sandra, I agree. Oh, I'm Joyce. Sorry. I agree. I wish your sermon could be projected on walls. I wish it could be written and shared. It's so essential that not only do we feel our oneness with each other, but that we recognize that oneness is our divinity. And here you spoke the truth. It was very beautiful. And the last thing is that I've been having little dreams about tax resistance again. I used to be a tax resistor many, many years ago. And even just withholding that portion that goes to the military, I mean, it's a huge thing. You could be sacrificing home. I mean, it's a huge thing, but I don't know why these keep flowing through.
Hi, I'm Robin. I want to celebrate that I gathered with about 30 plus family members in Florida last week to celebrate my mother's 90th birthday. And it was a really joyful celebration where I felt reconnected with lots of cousins and honor my mother in ways that felt really authentic. I also wanted to share, I think Sandra mentioned something about sharing visions for the future we want to create, and I was at the gathering yesterday where someone mentioned that is a group of people in a particular community that are doing that, and I just thought, yes, that we need to do that. We need to just get together and keep talking about what we want to create. So anyone who's interested, let's do that.
Matt, is there anyone on Zoom that wants to share?
Yes, we actually have a comment from Kate from down in Mexico. And bear with me because I do not have my glasses this morning, but I will read this. Candle of joy for a wonderful visit to Mexico with two wonderful friends. See you next month.
Anyone else?
Well, Joan Pillsbury has their hand up. So, Joan, if you're there, would you like to speak? If you'd like to speak, you can unmute your mic and go ahead. Okay, well, she tells me it's in the comments, and now I can see barely that she says, please hold Trudy Ralph in your love and your prayers as she struggles with cardiac issues that leave her no energy. And that is all from Zoom for now.
That's it? Okay, I have one, sorry. I'm Kirsten, and this weekend is always a special weekend for me because this is the weekend that I gave birth to my beautiful child. And then, of course, he went and found his soulmate, and guess what? She has the same birthday. So Max and Christina turned 38 yesterday, but as an added surprise, the Stone Soup family grew by one more amazing miracle. Our own beloved Ashley Kramer and Josh Reuter had their beautiful baby, Trillium Michael Kramer Reuter, at 1:28 a.m. on the 18th, so now there's birthday triplets I get to celebrate.
Okay, thank you very much.
I would like to share something. I can't seem to. Hello?
Yes. Hello, we hear you.
Hello? I guess I don't know what's going on.
Go ahead, and we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Oh, okay. This is Dorothy. I'm not sure what's going on here. I just wanted to offer I'd light a candle and a prayer for my partner, Howard Clark, who's having a very difficult time with his health issues, and also to share a joy that it appears that the ER may have saved his life last night, and that it also happened that a key specialist was on call in Springfield and was able to guide them in what needed to happen next, and he's home. And we still don't know what's going to happen, but it was a very scary night, and I'm just really so relieved that we got there and that they were able to help, and everything worked out. So prayers for him and for coming to some resolution about this issue. Thank you.
All right. All right. Spirit of community in which we share and find strength and common purpose. We turn our minds and hearts towards one another, seeking to hold in our hearts all our joys and sorrows, both spoken and unspoken. Let us open our hearts and minds to the place of quiet, to the silent prayer for the healing of pain and the soft, gentle coming of love. And we will now join in singing Prayer to Friends, our response. It's found in the first page of your hymnal, the words. with seeking minds and serving hearts. May we be filled with the warmth of presence, the gratitude of acceptance, and the freedom to choose love in the midst of strife and the unknown. May you go in peace with a yes in your mind, the rising sun in your heart, and your toes on the edge of the river. Blessed be. We'll now listen to the prelude, to postlude by Julia.
I'm trying to get a check.
Oh, Matt, we need the other mic. I do. Okay. Let's see. Okay. First of all, suggest that we have a movable feast. Let's take our snacks and our coffee.